Right, first thing to do, we're going to weigh out 630 grams of water. 632, that'll do. And to that, we're going to add 20 grams of salt. I always weigh out my water, salt, everything. You can get a set of scales for £5 or £6 from the supermarkets these days, so it just makes life more accurate. 21 grams, that'll do. I'm going to pop into the microwave, and I'm going to just warm it up. And that should speed things up. So to the water we're going to add 20 grams of oil. So while that's in the microwave warming up, 20 grams of my lovely grapeseed oil. So the salt is dissolved in the water, which helps it to spread through the dough without any problems. It won't kill the yeast. It just makes life a bit easier to mix it all together. So I'm going to add that to my 20 grams of oil. That's done with. Now the flour. I'm going to add the flour to the wet. They do say it helps to stop it sticking to the bottom of the bowl. If you're not confident to mix a kilo of bread flour up, start with half a kilo, just half the ingredients. I've done it before, so I'm being a bit cocky, but the more practice you get, the easier things become. Right, the 2 sachets of yeast, and again on the instructions it says to use one sachet for every 500 grams of flour. Some it uses less yeast to flour, but you're following the instructions. Salt we're done with, there you go. Now, as far as mixing the flour, you really need a kidney shaped scraper, bowl scraper like this. They don't cost a lot of money, but they do make life a bit easier. So work around the sides of the bowl first, like a human mixing machine, a human Hobart or KitchenAid. This is where it starts to get quite messy. Just keep going around, turning the bowl and turning the scraper. Now you can, if you've got plenty of time, you can leave this to rest and let the water hydrate the flour. But I'm just going to mix this until it all sort of comes together. That's it is quite messy, but that's just part of the technique. And trying to do it as quickly as possible, so we won't be doing any resting. So we're trying to incorporate as much of the dry flour as we can to get it in what they call a shaggy dough. But that's got most of it mixed in. Try to get one end clean, keep one end clean. you will find it feels dry in places and very wet in other places. But don't add any more flour or water, you won't need it yet. So again, I'm just trying to squidge it together so I get all the flour absorbed. So we just lift it out there. Give it a rub. Being a Yorkshireman, I like to get every last gram out of my bowl. Easy to clean. There's a little tip that the old Roo brothers used to do, and that is to clean the flour off your hand. You just take a pinch of flour, well I've only got the semolina, and just sprinkle it on your hand and use it to try and rub the sticky stuff off, like so. It's not going to add a lot to the ingredient, so if you haven't got semolina, use a little bit of flour, bread flour if you've got it. I've got loads because I keep collecting it. I like to get it all off, ready for baking. Cleans your nails, don't tell the missus. So that's the very useful kidney dough bowl scraper. Next one, these are quite cheap, you get them from Amazon, Nesbit's, catering suppliers. The plastic scraper. I've got a metal one, you can use the posh metal one, but these are cheaper, work just as well. So you're going to bring the flour in. You can cover it with a bowl, leave it for 15 minutes, and the water will hydrate into the dough, and it'll make it easier to work. But for now, because time is against us, we're going to start the kneading process. And when I first started doing this method, when I heard Richard Burton and on the old TV, you know, on the radio, and he started with the slap and fold technique. This is back nearly 20 years ago, and try not to lose it. So that's why you've got to work it in before you start to slap and fold. Try and work it together before you lose stuff. Again, I've got myself a nice mixer, so I don't have to do this. I normally make a little bit more dough than this, but because it's only a kilo, I'm going to be slapping and folding. So what you do, when your dough gets together, see it's all quite sticky, you come at 90 degrees with your fingers, you lift it, and you flap it down and flick it back. Again, 90 degrees. Slap it down. As you come down, you flip it over. You'll be turning in his grave. It is quite a solid lump, this dough. It's the first time I've used this flour. And because it's so noisy, what I'll be doing, I'll just turn the mic off so I don't deafen everybody. Right, I'm going to put a splash of oil in my bowl. So we're going to oil the bowl so our dough doesn't stick. And before we do anything else, I'm going to take a small amount of dough off the edge and put it into a bowl. This is a bit of trial and error, but this is my dough proving measuring device. Just drop a little bit of dough into this. It's a measuring cylinder. It was about that long. I chopped it down, pop the dough in and just squash it into the bottom with your little finger. You can use a wooden spoon handle or something if you can't get your pinky in there. So it's sort of levelish, and then I put my little elastic band off the spring onions onto the dough so I can watch it rise through here. So I'll give it a quick once, getting fairly smooth. Already it's resting a bit, this dough, it's coming really nicely together. Not going to worry too much about it though. You can see it's hydrating already. So I can put that in there. I'm going to spray it with my water spray into my little convection oven. I'm going to set it on its lowest setting, 40 degrees it says. It's more like 33, 34 degrees. I'm going to set it to 40 minutes and we'll have a look at it in about 20 minutes. I forgot. Don't forget to put your test in the same environment, and then we'll check it in 20 minutes, 30 minutes and see how it's rising. Once we know we've got about halfway there, we're going to put the oven on ready to get to temperature when this rises. On the packet, on the old yeast, it does say on this yeast, first prove triple in size. A lot of dry yeast, fresh yeast, you normally double in size, but this particular one says treble. So we're going to have a go at that. That's it. So in the meantime, I'm going to get my trays ready. These I use silicone baking sheets. They're non-stick, nothing sticks to them. They lay flat, they don't blow about in your fan oven. These are recommended to 250 degrees centigrade. That's, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's hot-ish. If you get the really expensive ones, they're probably 260 or 280 degrees, but I don't want to pay that much money for silicone sheets. I won't be using them at that sort of temperature. So this is another good little investment, the silicone baking sheets. Very handy. And you can just wash them in soap and water, reuse them and reuse them. I've had those for a couple of years now and they're still in good shape. So another recommendation. So anyway, we'll pop back in about 20 minutes and have a check at it. Cheers.